We are very honored to bring on the first ever guest on the Dump and Change show, someone that I admire very much in the media world, the lead MMA reporter, and someone you should all be very familiar with if you love the UFC. It's so nice to see you face to face virtually once again. Welcome to the show, Ariel Helwani. Ariel.
Hello, how are you
What's up?
guys?
We are really fucking good. Me especially, because the Rangers beat your Montreal Canadiens last night in Montreal. Patrick Kane had his first goal, and they're taking on Keith's Devils tomorrow. So both of us have a little bit to do with the Canadiens. Can you talk about the overall vibe right now in Montreal with the Canadiens after being in the final 3 years ago, and
Yeah.
your intake on hockey?
Well, I mean, that run a couple of years ago was tremendous. It was totally out of nowhere. Such a bummer, by the way, that, the fans couldn't be there. I know they said, I think for the Stanley Cup final, they said it was like 2,500. Didn't seem like 2,500, if I'm being honest,
Mhm.
but, you go to Tampa and it's a full arena, and you come to Montreal and it's, 4,000 or whatever it was.
And they had 20,000 outside.
20,000, yeah, all like cramped together. It was a very bizarre time. I mean, also bizarre that they were playing the Tampa Bay Lightning in the Stanley Cup final and played
Mhm.
Vegas in the conference final. The whole thing was freaking weird. And of course, a lot of changes since then. No Carey Price, Shea Weber, et cetera, et cetera. But I feel good about the future. I actually went to the Devils game a couple of weeks ago, and that was a big time win for them. They looked pretty damn good in that game as well. So they've got a bit of a youth movement. I guess foolishly at the start of the season, I thought maybe they could squeak in. Obviously, that's not going to happen. But as long as there's something that they're building towards, and I think the front office is solid. I like Martin St. Louis, legend. So I feel like there's optimism. It is weird, to see like the Leafs and stuff so much better than us these days. But we all know they're not going to win anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
I will say too, the Canadians are right now the sixth worst record, but that means they have a
Cool.
7.5% chance to get the first overall pick. This is an absolutely loaded draft class. So if they're able to secure the top three picks and get either Connor Bedard, Leo Carlson, or Adam Fantilli, that's going to be just another youth piece kind of helping with their movement.
I was just gonna say, historically, it's tough to get the first pick back to back. It's
Mhm.
happened obviously in the NBA with the Orlando Magic. Did the Devils get it back to back? Or
They were 2017 and 2019, so there was a
got it.
year in between when the
But
Right.
the
Sabres won it.
Rangers got two and then one. So that was
Okay.
like
All right. Well,
a good back to
let's hope
back.
for the best.
I did want to ask you too, just about sports betting in general. So obviously, with your show being sponsored by DraftKings, but then you doing a lot of stuff with BetMGM, kind of how do you see the sports betting landscape kind of helping out like your career path and everything from that perspective?
Oh, it's massive. Like when I left ESPN and I was in my independent Helwani phase, if you will, and I was trying to see who I wanted to work with. I mean, very clear that the sports betting world was, the engine for a lot of the media outlets right now, like fueling a lot of our work. Like you have to be aligned. Openly, I have often said that I don't really understand betting. I'm not very smart when it comes to it. I'm always referencing it. This guy's the favorite, that guy's the favorite, but there's a whole science. I think I've been lucky enough and smart enough to surround myself with people who know it. Shout out to New York Rick, my longtime, partner in crime. Shout out to Connor Burks, who's done a phenomenal job since joining the MMA Hour, and his picks are amazing. And I love learning from him about the game, and it's just amazing. Like this guy, he is. I've never met someone who is so passionate about betting. Like I will talk to him about darts, and all of a sudden he's giving me like a whole breakdown of who's the favorite and making picks. I talk to him about random stuff that he's not even a fan of, and he's like, "All right, I'm in. I'm gonna lay some
Mhm.
lumber on this, that, and the other." So I enjoy that. Anyone who has a passion about anything, I really, really enjoy. And if you're not aligned with one of the companies out there, and I'm Switzerland. I want to play nice with everyone, so I got love for everyone. But yes, of course, BetMGM near and dear to my heart, and I love those guys, and they've been very, very good to me. Um, I think that you're making a mistake if you're not aligning, and luckily for me, I don't have to make picks, in large part because I don't know if you guys know this, but fighters are very, very sensitive. And if you pick
Mhm.
against them, they don't want to talk to you anymore. And I'm in the business of talking to them. And so everyone's okay with me not making picks. And I'm very
Mhm.
happy about that.
So you just
Why?
let Connor make the picks for you, and
That's
then you let
exactly
him
it.
take you let him take all the shit.
Yes, but he doesn't have to reach out to these guys for an interview. So it's perfect. I'm the one who does the booking. So no one really gets mad at me. I sometimes go out on a limb when it's someone that I have like a long history with, and perfect scenario, someone I have a long history with fighting someone who doesn't like me and won't come on the show anyway. Then I'm all about the pick. Then I'll just, I have nothing to lose.
Well, I gotta ask, what's a higher number, your bench press or your betting unit?
That's a great question, because I don't know if you know this, guys. I'm trying to get, it's so big it doesn't even get into the shot. Like, there's been gains going on here with a Z. I mean, I've been doing a lot. So I don't really know what betting unit means, if I'm being honest. I'm gonna go with bench press just to be safe.
Good to say on the betting show. But but I want to ask you, because we've talked about this, you and I, before, about fighting in hockey. You're in the work of fighting, and obviously fighting is a huge part of the athletes that you talk to, their lives. It's also a huge part of NHL's players' lives, but a lot of people want to see it removed from the game. Do you think there are more pros than cons for fighting in hockey, or are you in the crowd of, maybe we don't need it, the game's got a lot of skill and speed, fighting can go away?
Nah, it's got to stay. It's a throwback. Now, do we need to see it every game, every period? No, but it's a unique element of the NHL, of hockey, that you don't get in any other sport, right? I mean, if someone like flicks a player in the NBA, you're suspended for a game, you're kicked out.
Mm-hmm.
If you get if you hold on to this part of a jersey in the NFL, it's 15 yards or something like that. I like the fact that sometimes, the best is when the guys are about to fight, and the refs are just, hanging around them and like, all right, guys, get it out of your damn system. Like, that's just a part of the fabric of the NHL. So am I advocating for extreme violence? Do I want to see gruesome injuries, knockouts, concussions? No. But I mean, I used to be a partial season ticket holder for the Montreal Canadiens for many, many years while I was growing up in Montreal. My family had, and we went to so many games. I was at the last game ever at the Montreal Forum. I was at the first game ever at the Molson Center. Obviously, growing up in Montreal, hockey is a big part of our lives. And some of the most fun times that I had was when you knew a fight was about to break out and watching that fight. So I don't want to see it go away. Obviously, you have to be smart, but I'm a fan.
There's also a lot of crossover with the NHL players training in MMA and martial arts as well, right? So there's, a cool aspect to that where, not only are these guys fighting, they're also fighting to the similar style that you cover. So I'm sure you can, it'd be cool to see, maybe like probably really dangerous, but an MMA fight on skates or something like that. I don't know if that's ever
there's a company called Fight TV. They do great work. They're basically like an online network stream, and they have combat sports events all the time from all over the world, mainly MMA, boxing, pro wrestling. But there's a league, and I'm going to botch this, but I think it's called Ice Wars or something like that. There's a league that started where it's just the fights, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's also, yeah. I think that was that started with the Dansbury, like, Thrashers guy. I think he's the one that started it.
Yeah.
But back to your point too, I think there's definitely like a happy medium in hockey where you can keep fights in the game, but only fights that are like necessary and warranted. So if there's a dirty hit, standing up for your player, as opposed to some people just come in and try and fight someone after a clean hit. I don't think that necessarily warrants a fight. But
1000%.
But now that we're let's loop it back a little bit. So we're a hockey betting show. Ariel, Helwani, what kind of bets are you looking at for this weekend? There's a massive slate of games on both Saturday and Sunday. Any picks in particular?
Well, Keith Kavanaugh, funny you should ask. I mean, I just mentioned Habs Devils a couple weeks ago. We get the rematch at home at the Bell Center. So, of course, I mean, I'm a total homer. I do, by the way, I have love for the Rangers, even though you guys beat us yesterday. I would love to see the Rangers. I'm a huge Knicks fan. Maybe not a ton of love for the ownership, but I'm a fan of the Garden, obviously, and I know a lot of Rangers fans, and I would love, anytime New York is happy, I'm happy. So I will say that I'm happy about the Kane trade and how they're doing, but I'm actually very, very happy for the Devils. My cousin works for the Devils.
Wow.
Amanda Stein is her name. She does a lot of reporting.
I know Amanda.
Yeah. I never told you this.
No.
Oh yeah, that's my wife's cousin, and so now through marriage, yeah, Amanda.
She's Canadian, so
best handwriting in the NHL.
Best handwriting.
Insane
when she does the lineup.
Lines every day.
Yes, she is great, and I have so much respect for her because she's a woman working in a male-dominated sport. She came from TSN, I think it's 690 in Montreal, covering the Canadiens. Took a chance, moved to America, has been working for the Devils. And based on what she tells me and based on what I see, there aren't a lot of people covering the Devils on a day-to-day basis. And she's one of the very few. I know she works for the team, but has done a lot of great work and is respected, I believe, by the fan base. And so I'm very, very proud of her. And when we were at the game, she brought my kids down to give some of the players high fives. We saw Jack Hughes and company, and that was pretty damn cool. So I'm rooting for the Devils. I'm rooting for the Rangers, but number one, always the Habs. And we get a rematch. And anytime the Devils play the Canadiens, she knows this, I have to root for the Canadiens. And so I'm going with the Canadiens at home tomorrow.
Love it. As a big Devils fan too, like obviously see Amanda's stuff on Twitter. She is definitely respected in the Devils space. Everyone loves when she posts the lines. The handwriting is second to none. She's getting good with the content too in the interviews, just trying to bring fans like a good perspective of the team. There's not a lot of that going on in hockey, whereas the UFC, I feel like you can kind of get more like alone one-on-one time with the fighters. It's not like that in the NHL, but I think she's doing a good job trying to bridge that gap.
Glad to hear it. I love that.
So, Ariel, before we let you go, we just asked you about your weekend bets, but Stanley Cup winner, not necessarily who you think is going to win. Who do you want to see win the Stanley Cup? Aside, in a realistic realm.
Yeah, I mean, Montreal is not going to win.
Yeah.
I would love to see the Devils or the Rangers, and I know that's a weird one because they're rivals, but
you want a Rangers parade before a Knicks parade?
I mean, we got one in '94. I mean, the last Knicks parade we got was '73. I wasn't born. I would be last year I was rooting for them. I would have loved to see them make the final. That would have been amazing. So yeah, Devils or Rangers would be great. I love going to games at the Prudential Center, by the way. It's a great time. It's a lot easier to park around there. The fan base. I love those like passionate, sort of niche, diehard fan bases. And of course, since the Nets left, there's not, I mean, I know the Jets and Giants play in New Jersey as well, but there's no New Jersey pro sports team here anymore. So I would love to see them get a victory, but I think the Rangers fans are great as well. That's a fun time. So if I had to pick, I'm going Rangers or Devils. If I had to pick one, I'll go with the Devils for Amanda, because I think it would be pretty damn cool for her to be covering a Stanley Cup winning team.
That'd be awesome. I'd love to get invited to that cup party if it happens.
Yeah, I think I could pull some strings. I think I can make it. I don't think we want you there as a
I'm
a
friend of the Devil community.
I agree with that.
Really? Okay.
Islander fans want to kill me.
I'll take Johnny's invite. Don't worry.
Okay, fair enough.
Islander fans want to kill me, but Devil fans seem to have a little.
You're cool with them? All right.
Yeah.
Good.
The good news too, Ariel, is that the Devils look like they're going to play the Rangers in the first round. So whoever wins that series can kind of be the team that you
the
for
pick.
the rest of the way.
Oh my God, that's going to be incredible.
Yeah.
Shades of '94. Tremendous. Love that.
It should be awesome. But Ariel, before we let you go, we want to thank you for your time, and anything you want to plug before you hop off here.
Nothing. I want to plug your dentist. Last time we spoke, you were missing a tooth. So shout out to him. Or 2 teeth. Was it 2 or 1?
4.
It was 4. Jeez Louise.
Yeah.
So yes, I want to shout him out or her out.
Dr. Stern.
Respect. Is that a boy or a girl?
A boy. Andrew Stern.
Okay. Legend. Great stuff. And congrats on the show. Thanks for having me. Like I said to you off air, we need young, exuberant, vibrant voices in hockey. And Johnny, I love in particular what you're doing. It gives me great nachas, as we like to say in the Jewish community, to see you doing the play-by-play stuff for ESPN Plus. Seeing you do the stuff with SNY and On the Ice with BR, with Julie Stewart-Binks. That's great as well. I love all the stuff that you're doing. So keep it up and keep making hockey fun. There's a lot of old guard in hockey that it's just sort of like, it's a little dry, right? Make it fun, make it exciting. Keep it up.
Thank you. And I'm taking that clip and putting it on my Hinge profile so girls think I'm doing really good.
Awesome. My pleasure.
Thanks, Ariel. Talk to you soon.
All right, guys. Take care.
Thanks.